Hey, thanks so much for jumping on here and joining me today. I want to encourage you to subscribe, to like, and comment along as this video speaks to you and as what we dive into today just breaks out in your heart and in your spirit as you're listening along. Today I want to talk to you about Ruth and Boaz. The book of Ruth, I've been in there lately. The Lord's had me in there and it's just been cracking open in this dimension and revelation on the bride and the groom. Ruth paints this beautiful imagery of the bridal realm with Jesus is our groom and us is his bride, and what this really breaks out of. What does it mean for him to be our groom? What does it look like for him to be the groom to us? And what is it that he's looking for in us is his bride? What is it that we're called to pour out on him? If you remember the book of Ruth, it starts with this woman named Naomi, and she has a husband and some sons. They move away to a far-off land from Israel. Her sons get married, but then they all die off. All her husband, her sons, they die, and Naomi decides to trek back to the promised land. And Ruth, her daughter-in-law, decides to come along with her, makes a covenant with her. And right off the gate, you got to see this. This is so powerful. Right off the gate, Ruth means a friend. And the name Naomi means a pleasant delight. Ruth is kind of the main character of this book. It starts with Naomi, but it's really Ruth. And I want you to see that it's the pleasant delight of the promised land. It's the pleasant delight of Jesus that causes the friend Naomi, or the friend Ruth, to pursue and go into the promised land. Look, I want you to see it's the pleasant delight of Jesus. First is our groom, his pleasantness, the promised land. He is the promised land. It's the pleasant delight and pleasure of him, his beauty, that draws us initially to come and follow him, to forsake everything, our land, our former family. We leave all to follow him and to come into the kingdom. And Ruth enters into this promised land. And as she enters in, the very first thing that happens is she enters into the service of the family redeemer, into the service of the redeemer. And you know where she's serving? In the harvest field. Ruth starts serving in the harvest field. And while she's serving, it's so powerful. The redeemer provides protection, favor, blessing, refreshing, bread and wine, and speaks kindly to her as she serves him in the field. And when the harvest finishes, she makes herself ready for her Redeemer. She gets washed. She puts on perfume. She puts on her nice clothes, and she meets him in the secret place. And then, we know the story in the end of Ruth that they get married. He redeems her. They're married. They're together. And she, in turn, becomes the great-grandma the grandma of David, King David, and is in that line. What a beautiful story. But I want you to see the parallel here. It's the same for us. Look, as we leave and surrender everything to follow Jesus, to enter into the promised land, again, it's the pleasant delight of Jesus is our groom. It's his beauty. It's his pleasantness. It's his delightfulness that draws us to surrender, that draws us to forsake all and follow him. And what happens when you and I say yes to Jesus? Well, we enter into the service of the Redeemer. We enter into our assignment. What's our assignment? The harvest field. Go into all the world and preach the gospel. This is what we enter into. You get saved because of his delight and his beauty. You enter into his service, which is the harvest field, to preach the gospel. But I want you to see here that outside of our assignment, there's a deeper assignment. Outside of our assignment, there's a deeper purpose. There's an assignment within the assignment. There's a purpose within the purpose, and that is to meet with him in the secret place, to come to him in the threshing floor, outside of the busyness of the field, outside of the harvest, outside of the service to the Lord. Primarily, it's to meet him in the secret place. And like Ruth laid down at the feet of her Redeemer, and she forsook every other lover. The Redeemer, Boaz, actually complimented her. He said, man, praise you in your kindness of not seeking out other lovers or younger lovers, but that you sought out me. There's something about forsaking every other lover, laying at his feet and letting him spread his garments over us, his garments dripping with oil and myrrh. And in that place, see, this is where we come and we're readied. We readied ourselves. We prepare ourselves to meet him in the secret place. This is the assignment within the assignment. And I'm telling you, we lay there. This is what happened with Ruth. She laid there, and then as the day began to rise, she laid at his feet all night. As the day began to rise, she quickly got up and left before anybody could see that she was there. Guys, this is the same for us. We need to pray in secret. The secret place is a secret. It's exactly that. It's a secret. It's a place. It's your heart with the Lord. It's your place of communion and intimacy. And outside of the service of the Redeemer, outside of our assignment for the harvest, we are called to meet him in the secret place, lay at his feet, forsake every other lover, let him spread his garments of love over us, be readied and prepared in our hearts to meet him, and then get up before anybody else sees. Look, this isn't something you're supposed to gloat about or tell everybody else about. It's a secret and it's a place. It's a place for you and him. But what struck me so powerfully was, one, not only Ruth's beautiful example to us to be a bride for Jesus, but the Redeemer's beautiful ministry and love to her. How he honors her. He married her with even witnesses. He produces fruitfulness out of her life. And what I also love to see is how he provides for her. He protects her. He releases favor and blessing and refreshing. He cracks open and breaks open and gives her bread and wine. Man, that sounds like Jesus. He speaks kindly and tenderly to her. Jesus is our Boaz. We are his Ruth. And God is calling us into this protection and blessing and favor and kindness of his voice, the kisses of his mouth. And in turn, what is our response? We step outside of the field, outside of the busyness of ministry, outside of our assignment, and we come and lay at his feet and choose him above every other lover. Let him spread his garments of affection over us and stay there and don't let anybody else see or know. Man, I want to encourage you, live your life in the secret place. I want to be like Ruth and I want to be like Boaz. This bridal paradigm of he is our Boaz, we are his Ruth. He is our groom, we are his bride. Let's respond this way and meet him in the secret place, being readied with our perfumes, being readied with our clothes and our garments of righteousness to come and lay at his feet and pour out our affection and choose him above everything. This is our call. This is our beautiful, sweet call with Jesus. Let's be Ruth. Let's let him be Boaz. Take care. Hey, I want to encourage you to subscribe, follow along, and share this if this blessed you, and share it with somebody else to encourage and bless them. I believe that God's looking for us as a people to be like Ruth and for us to allow him to be our Boaz, to protect and bless and provide and favor us and show kindness to us as our groom. I want to live this way, and I pray that you do too. Hey, take care. I'll talk to you later.